So Austin is the shorter one and Seth is the taller guy. Well,
all right, guys, good morning.
morning.
John, I run the Mule Barn. I'd like to welcome you folks to the Havasupai Garden ride. You guys excited?
Yeah.
All right, where are you from?
Sonora, California.
How about you folks?
Missouri.
Missouri. Where are you from again?
Right now in Oregon.
Oregon, that's right. We were talking about Oregon. Yeah. All right, guys, well, before we get to go, we have to go over a few things. We'll talk about today's ride, and then we'll go over some riding instructions, and then we'll talk about all the fun, scary stuff, all right? All right, so here pretty soon we'll get you up on your mules. We'll be going down the Bright Angel Trail right here. After about 2 and a half hours of riding, you'll hit the gardens. We'll get off for lunch. We'll be down there for about an hour or so. After lunch, we'll get you back up on your mules and get you back up here. You should get here about 3 o'clock. It takes about three and a half hours of riding to get back up here. So enjoy this day. This is beautiful weather. It doesn't get any better than right now. So we don't even have flies out right now. So that's
gnats.
Yeah, have some gnats. All right, guys, let's go over on how to operate your mule.
Okay, so come up here to the top. The left foot goes in. We just swing over like we're getting on a bike. Perfect. There you go. That time on it straight. Good. Good, Harvey. Hoppy.
Spot and our point of no return. So if you guys feel you're not up for the ride and would like to turn around, I can give John a call. He'll come pick you up and you guys get a full refund.
Wow.
Once we leave this spot, all refunds are void. So if we get down there and you guys quit, that was a good, nice, expensive mule ride for you guys. But it's where I ask you guys, does everybody want to go down to the gardens, or is there someone that would like to go back to the top?
I'll go all the way.
Give me a sec.
This is the beginning of the Bright Angel Fault Line. That Bright Angel Fault Line runs along the trail all the way down into that little slot canyon before it drops into the inner gorge. Crosses the river, then it runs up that northern canyon. Good news, we haven't had an earthquake since the 90s. Bad news, we haven't had an earthquake since the 90s. Alright? What? My brain fogged. Wait a second. I was about to tell you guys something really cool, I promise. Well, a little bit about rocks. It'll come back to me.
Yeah.
Have a good day. Have a good one. He's actually running this way. I've been so wonderful. You wouldn't believe it. Last week, I mean, it was starting to heat up, but.
Spots that I'll point out to you guys where the wall still stands today, a little farther down, a part of the old trail, but a little bit back to our rocks. I said I'll tell you a little bit more about here. So, we're now getting down into our Kaibab limestone. So you have Coconino sandstone, your Kaibab limestone, then your Bright Angel shell. And when we cross this corner, we'll start getting down into some shell rock, and I'll point that out to you. They would send the women down first on the ladders, so that way the men couldn't look up their dresses. And the men would follow behind, they would continue their ride, and on their way back, they would come back, they would get off their mule, they would the men would slap their mule in the butt, make their mule go up it by itself, the men would take the series of rope ladders up, the women had to grab onto that mule's tail. They would slap the butt, and the women would run up that hill with the mule. So that way the men couldn't look up their dresses. It was all out of modesty. I've always thought, why not just have the men go up the ladders first, then the women behind them?
Okay, so this is Havasupai Gardens, our destination. It's 11 o'clock. We started at 8, so it took 3 hours to get here. Like they said, I gotta tell you, you're not gonna want to hear this, but That's pretty friggin' grueling for me, this horse mule ride stuff. Okay, so I'm eating my lunch, and I'm feeling a little better now that I'm eating my lunch and walked around a little bit. I tell you, sitting in that saddle with your legs spread for hours gets to you, and it gets to my legs too. I think it's got something to do with all the hiking I did the past couple of days, because my thighs are sore.
Not yet.
Starting to rain a little bit here. We're going up.
Well, folks, a little bit about where we're at then. So, that cove that goes back past those pack mules over there, call this Bacon Cove. And in the 1980s, most of the Native American population was pushed out of the canyon by this time. And one of the wranglers down here smelt bacon. And when you smell bacon around, you know there's a fire somewhere cooking that bacon. Got mad at us. They said it creates too much noise pollution up top. If we were to yell yeehaw right here, they would hear us up on the rim.
Dusty.
To my left right here on this wall, this big white wall, that's petrified snow. It's dated at about 3 million years old. I'm just playing with you guys. Snow don't petrify, it melts away. That's all calcium. So all of our grounds up top are really rich in calcium, so when it rains, it pulls the calcium out of the ground, brings it down here, paints the walls. You guys will notice there's a lot of white all over these walls. That's just calcium deposits. Long time ago, this used to be a real big waterfall that helped paint the calcium onto that wall. This used to be a little river that flowed through here, and a long time ago, there were 11 associated tribes with the canyon. A lot of different tribes lived down here within the canyon because a long time ago, there was a lot of water down here, a lot more water than there is today. This here is one of those extinct water sources, and after these waters started drying up was a big reason why a lot of the native population started to leave the canyon, because there was not enough water to survive off of without going to the river. That is that Utah agave. They're also called stock agave because at the end of their lifetime, they shoot up that big sprout, and those are seed pods on the end, and they'll wait until they heat up, and they'll pop. And then all the seeds on the inside go in different directions, repopulating different parts around that plant. And then once they shoot up that sprout, they stop taking in moisture, so they slowly start to dry out and die. And then those roots will pop off the bottom. The roots will disconnect itself from the bottom.
Okay, they stopped to let me pee. Isn't that nice? Might as well do some video while I'm here. I wanted to video while we're riding, but they don't want you to do that. And I understand why. Because the camera is all over the place and very hard to control.
In the early 1900s, Roosevelt wanted this to be a great game preserve that had elk, so he went up north to Yellowstone, put about 300 head of elk inside of train cars, brought them down here and released them. Now we have a booming elk population up on top of the canyon, because also Roosevelt wanted this the biggest, best game preserve on the planet. He wanted you guys to come to the South Rim, be able to hunt elk, deer, mountain lions, bear, and then go to the North Rim to be able to hunt
one's hard. Ashaha. Yeah, it's pretty close. Nice, good job. So you look at him, you'll do that salute. You'll say, Ashaha Shiche. Thank you, grandfather. Anyone want to try? Anyone brave?
Okay.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, there you go. He speaks English. Yeah, that's really special. Good for him.
Okay, well, the mule ride is over. It's about 3 o'clock, just as like they said it would be. My legs are killing me. I got a little seasick from all the rocking around, but they slowed. We took a little break, and I took some electrolytes and felt better. But my legs still hurt. You know, I think it's got something to do with all the hiking I did the past few days, but maybe not. Maybe it's just I'm not a mule riding person. I haven't done this since I was a teenager, so it was not scary. I was kind of concerned about that, but it was not scary. And as far as the rain, it only sprinkled a little bit, and the weather obliged. And would I do it again? Probably not. Yeah, well, anyway. Great scenery, no doubt about that. But that was hard to do. All right, that's enough. Oh, one more thing I forgot to tell you. I learned that mules are more sure-footed than horses, and their eyes are farther apart than a horse, so they can see darn near 360 degrees around them. They can actually see where each of their 4 feet are landing. Anyway. Oh, and my mule did stumble a couple of times, but we didn't fall down. All right, yeah, that's it. I'm just having a hot dog here after the mule ride. One more thing I forgot to tell you. They give you a chance not to do it shortly after it starts. They say if you don't want to do this, somebody will come get you here and you'll get your money back. So that's nice. I keep remembering things I was going to tell you. Going downhill on a mule at the beginning is harder than going uphill. Going downhill, wranglers want you to use your legs and your feet to kind of keep yourself up off the saddle, which is hard to do. Going uphill though, you're kind of leaning forward in the saddle and you're using your bottom more. Oh, and also, the elk. There's lots of elk here in the park. But the wrangler said they're not healthy because there's no, there's nothing to eat them. What's it called? Predators. There's no predators in the park. Teddy Roosevelt had them all killed a long time ago. So there's no predators to weed out the sick or the unhealthy. So their DNA is really weak. Okay, I think that's everything now. Okay, I think that's the Colorado River down there, that little bitty snippet of it there. I'm at Hermit's Rest. I took the red route to get here. It's west of the visitor center. Okay, here's a little bit of a different view here. Sorry about the trees.